The Global Latin Factor Podcast.
Welcome to another episode of the Global Latin Factor Podcast. My name is Crispin Valentin, and I have DJ Vira, La Condesa, with me. You know what a Condesa is?
No, what's that?
A count.
Count Dracula?
Kind of like that,
No,
but it's
hombre.
like a female count.
Okay.
You look like a vampire.
Well, it's
You really
Halloween,
do.
almost.
Yes. So, check it out. We are dressed. We have one more episode for this Halloween season, and we're going to go through our costumes. I'm going to describe to the ones that are not able to see it through the video. But first, Vira, what are you?
I'm Vampire Vira. today.
Vampire Vira, aka Chola Vira. Lean like a chola as you fly. Check it out. So my Borat and my camera guy were not able to get my costume. If you're seeing it on camera right now, then I'll give you a couple seconds to guess. For the ones that only see audio, I have a string. On one side of the string, I have what looks like an octopus, well, we're going to call it a squid. And on the other one, I have a Uno game. So I am Squid Game.
Squid Game.
Yeah. So what happened was I had to improvise because, I went to a Halloween store. And right now they're very low in costumes. And Amazon was not going to make it on time. So, and they're pricey. So this cost me probably a couple dollars. I put it all together. I bought me some red string. And I tied it all together. Oh, and this one, actually, when you shake it hard enough, it actually shines. But I only got it to shine one time.
Oh, I thought you were going to say like it screams or something.
Look. See?
Aw.
Can you see the lights? Ah. All right. So this is the Global Latin Factor Podcast where we talk about Latino.
Everything.
Latino everything. That's right. So if you're curious about Latino culture, if you are a Latino that's not really too in touch but been looking to learn more about Latino, this is the perfect place where you can learn more about Latino. Like on the last episode that we talked about Dia de los Muertos, somebody tagged me, my comadre tagged me on Dia de los Muertos because I asked her about the days because there's a significant, there's preparation that comes with Dia de los Muertos. And again, I knew there was more. I just couldn't remember. Maybe because I was just excited about eating the ofrenda after everything was said and done, and I just wanted to eat some food. However, we're going to go and real quickly break down some of the dates. So on October 28th, the first candle is lit and a white flower is placed to receive the lost souls. On October 29th, another candle is lit and a case of water is placed dedicated to the abandoned and forgotten deceased. October 30th, another candle is lit, a glass of water is placed, and a white bread is placed for the deceased who left without eating or they had an accident. October 31st, another candle is lit, a glass of water is placed, a white bread is placed, and we add fruit for our descendants. November 1st, All Saints Day, the souls who died as children arrive this day. All the food is put out in the ofrenda. They call it altar, but we know it's an ofrenda. November the 2nd, day of faithful departed, souls of the dead adults come to collect and eat the offering that the family has placed. And on November the 3rd, the last white candle is lit. We say goodbye to our deceased and the offering is removed, aka we get to eat. Yeah. That's what happens. That is the days for Dia de los Muertos, the sequence of what happens during those days. So if you never knew about it, go check out a post that they put. Let me see, where's the post at? The post is from a page called Lolo, Modern Mexican Mercadito. Go check out their posts. They post a bunch of stuff, but that's what they put the post about Dia de los Muertos and what happens each day, which I wasn't aware of, to be honest. I didn't know. I was lost. But now I know, and knowing is half the battle. G.I. Joe. Okay, So we're going to do something different today. It's going to be called Motivational Moment. Motivational Moment. We're going to take a couple of moments to motivate you. For whatever reason, you find yourself in this podcast, meaning you're in search of something and possibly motivation. I feel motivation is something that is needed. For example, if you find yourself that you found your passion for whatever reason, you're just not able to push forward, just like having too many obstacles and you're feeling down, then I feel some of these words are going to help you. Because again, if you found this podcast and you're listening right now, meaning that you found exactly what you're needing. There's been so many Latinos that you can get influence and motivations for that found huge obstacles that were able to fight through it and continue their path. Ellen Ochoa was told by her teacher that she wouldn't be able to be an engineer because she was a woman, let alone an astronaut, the first Latina astronaut, and yet she did it. Franklin Chang only had a few dollars living in South America and was told you needed to be a U.S. citizen to even be considered for the NASA program, and he made it happen. So if you find yourself with a few obstacles right now in your pursuit of your goal, whatever it is, it's okay. It's part of the growing process. Fight through it and get to and just continue the momentum. Even if it's small steps, just keep going. Keep going. Don't ever stop, because at the end of the day, you're living your experience as a human, and this is what you are deciding to do. If you find your passion, then, stick to it. And it's okay to go through a little pain. Pain is temporary. Might last a minute, a day, an hour, a year, but eventually it will subside. But if you quit, it will last forever. I don't remember who the original quote of that was. I know I heard it before from different people, but it's just temporary. It's needed to grow. So it's okay. Fight through it and get to where you need to be, so you can continue your goal and live a happier life. That is your motivational moment for today, because we are here as the Global Latin Factor to encourage and empower you by bringing you all this knowledge of all these Latinos that done something. And then that could be you too. There's no much difference except for the work, and you just got to put in some work and your mentality to get it done right. All right. DJ Vira, how you doing today?
I'm good. How are you?
You're tripping me out with those eyes. They are crazy. I believe
they're my real eyes.
I know. I see it. Like you have some beets to drink or something, and they went straight to your eyes. Yeah.
I drink some blood.
All right. So last episode for Halloween, our Halloween edition, we're going to go big, bringing you some interesting characters, some mythical creatures that you might say, that you probably heard about, but we're going to try to bring you a couple of new things about them. First, what do we have first, DJ Vara?
The Duende.
Duendes. What are Duendes?
They refer to a spirit in Spanish, Portuguese, and Filipino folklore, and literally means spirit, elf, or goblin. Yeah.
So the word originated supposedly from dueño de casa, meaning owner of the house, and I can see the relationship of duendes with Filipino and Portuguese, because all those are conquerors, and the Spaniards went and conquered some of the Philippines, and I can see how they took the stories with them to, the guy amongst the people, and then that's how they started spreading those legends of the spirit, elf, whatever. Have you ever heard of a duende?
No.
Never heard of it? Never seen the video about them or anything? This is the first time you ever heard of them?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I'll tell you just a little bit about my story time about this. Okay. So the word is considered to be Spanish, the equivalent to a sprite, or Japanese word yokai, or the other umbrella fairy words such as goblin, pixie, elves, something like that. So when you say duende, you kind of sort of picture all those kind of being the same thing. All right. Okay. So where did the term originated from? Can you tell me?
Yeah, it originated and was used in flamenco music or other art forms to refer to the mystical or powerful force given off by a performer to draw in the audience. So the Spanish poet Federico Garcia Lorca wrote in his essay Teoría y Juego del Duende, Play and Theory of the Duendes, what that means.
Yeah.
So it's a power and not a behavior.
Okay, so whenever people are performing on stage, like let's say Lady Gaga, when you saw her perform, like you can kind of see the spell behind her performance. You were like, you know what I mean?
Oh, yeah,
you were
that
like,
was me.
That's what they mean whenever he was talking about like that presence, that stage presence they call, where you're all of a sudden you're just enchanted by what they're doing, and you'd be like, oh wow, or like Snow the Product, you know how they control the stage, how this and that, and you're just like nothing else. Everything could be burning around you, but you don't care because you're literally focused on their act. And that's what they mean, that the power and behavior that they project on stage as they're performing, that's what draws you to be like, oh, wow, you know, and nothing else matters except for what they're doing. All right, so here's my story time. Okay. There's a lot of stories. I'm pretty sure if you're a Latino or if you're a Mexicano, if you ask one of your relatives, I'm pretty sure they have a story about some type of duendes or somebody that hurt somebody, about encountering a duende. I can almost guarantee it. In fact, do me a favor. If you're not having subscribe, and then later on show them the video or go ask them and comment on wherever you're listening, if it's on YouTube or any of them, and tell me about it, because I can guarantee you that you heard about it before, because I heard about it before. So, my brother-in-law's friend, he has a friend. So first of all, let's start with how the conversation came to be. So my brother-in-law likes to go fish, and then sometimes, even though I don't eat fish or anything, I go with him just for the sport, and you know, it feels good to catch something for your family, to know where it came from, you know, even though I don't eat it, but to know where it came from and be able to provide to your family, and that's, you know, it's a good source of food that you know is clean and you know where it came from. So sometimes we go to this little river creek, and we went down there. We were there for a little while, and I noticed some footprints that were about this big, about 3 inches. And then I told my brother, like, hey, look, you see this? I'm like, yeah. Does that look like a footprint to you? And he's like, yeah. I'm like, but they're small. They look like a kid. It doesn't look like a grown up. Like, yeah. So I try to get a picture and capture, because I felt, we started talking about, like, you think it would be a duende? Like, maybe, but it's a little. Why would a kid be barefooted walking around? And this is the only prints of it. There's no other footprints of like shoes or anything, and it's barefooted. So I'm like, okay. So we got done, went back to the house, and that day one of his friends was visiting over, and we started talking about what happened, what we saw, and then his friend, I can see his face was like, kind of like, not like, you can tell something, like his expression changed. Then I asked him, like, have you ever, like, I think he blurted out, like, they're real. I'm like, how do you know they're real? Like, because he said when he was little that him and his brother used to play with duendes.
What? Oh, really?
True story. And I, you know, I try to ask as many questions as I can, and he was like a little bit hesitant to tell me, but like maybe thinking that I was gonna think he's crazy or whatever. But he said, like, yeah, they used to just take him out and play with them, and then come back home. Nothing crazy, nothing happened, nothing weird, nothing. It's just they went out and played with the little thing and the little duende, and that's it. What do you think about that?
That's crazy.
All right. Tell me what people think in Hispanic folklore.
Well, in Hispanic folklore of Mexico and the American Southwest, duendes are known as gnome-like creatures who live inside the walls of homes. So especially in the bedroom walls of young children. They attempt to clip the toenails of unkept children and often lead to the mistaken removal of the entire toes.
See, that's where I feel like right now is where it divides. So we would know people that have toes missing. You know what I mean? Like, we would already know a lot of people, like, that these duendes are evil or bad, because we'll have plenty of people that are missing toes. And I don't think it's the case in Mexico. You see what I mean? So that's where it starts to divide of, like, are they bad or not? Supposedly they live in walls, And that's what they were saying. And also, they'll be known to take items from children. Also, be known to barter with the mom for the children. And when the duende takes the kid, then supposedly he eats them. Supposedly. I don't know. I don't know if it's true or not. That's just what they say. All right. What do they look like, Vira?
All right. They are small, measuring only about 20 inches tall. So, like right here?
20 inches.
20 inches.
About a foot or a half or something like that.
Yeah, they're tiny.
Tiny bitty.
So they typically have long hair and run around without clothes. The males have long beards, and many versions of the legend, Los Duendes have no thumbs.
Okay, so they only have 4 fingers, right? So supposedly they live in the forest, in the walls, and in the forest. So supposedly if you hear a whistle, a distinct whistle, just like the Llorona, whenever you hear the cry of the Llorona, you'll be like, yeah, you need to go the other way, like so fast. If you hear a whistle in the walls or in the woods, then you want to run fast. If so happen to be that you're not able to get away fast enough, then you have to do it like this. I'm holding 4 fingers where you have to hide your thumb so they can think you're one of them. So the story goes. I don't know if it's true or not. But if I encounter one of them, I'm pretty sure I'll be doing that. People try to do the sign of the cross, like us Mexicans be doing whenever we encounter one of those bad spirits. However, they're not be known to be malicious or evil. That's the reason why it doesn't work with them. And that's why you have to hide your thumb so you won't do it. All right. So, you know what I was thinking too when I was listening to this? Because there's a human that they found a long time ago. It's called the Flores Man, nicknamed the Hobbit. And this small creature lived in Indonesia about 50,000 years ago. And he was only about 3 feet 7 inches. And they found one of them. So what if the Duendes were the ancestors of this little guy? You know what I mean? And they were just, they didn't die all the way out. And they just still hide. And of course, they're smaller than all the other human beings. So they have to hide so they won't be finished.
It's probably easier for them to hide.
Yeah.
Because they're so tiny.
Yeah. So I seen a lot of videos of supposedly people capturing images of duendes, but they're terrible. You can't tell if it's like, they're not a spirit. So the video is in full color, but all you can see is like a little black spot moving around. And I don't think it's CGI or anything, but it's just not, I don't know. It'll be see it to believe it. What do you think?
We should go and investigate.
Where?
Anywhere.
We can go to the creek.
Let's look in the walls.
We can go to the creek and spend the night over, and then see what happens. But there's got some wild boar over there. And, they're vicious.
No, thank you.
Yeah, those dudes are bad. They're tough. So there you have it, duendes. If you hear a whistle, run. Keep your toenails nicely clean, kept, or you might lose a toe or a hand or a finger.
And hide your thumbs.
And hide your thumbs if you happen to see one. Don't try the cross sign. It's not going to work. Sorry. It's just not going to happen. I still think it's one of the ancestors way back in the days. They're trying to still make it. And all the images that they showed, none of them were quality at all whatsoever. None of them look made up. They don't look real at all whatsoever. So I can't agree with it. I am sorry, but I can't agree. All right. Moving on to the next one. We have, what do we have, DJ Vira?
La Catrina.
La Calavera Catrina or Catrina or La Calavera Garbancera or just La Catrina or Catrina. It's a dapper skeleton, elegant skeleton. In 1910 and 1913, zinc etching by the Mexican paint maker and illustrator Jose Guadalupe Posada. Posada was made an indigenous cartoon focused on the injustice of President Porfirio Diaz at that time and his high-class society by painting a skeleton at that time that portrayed somebody that was dressed like a Catrin but with a skull. And some people say that he got inspiration of the skull from the spirit of death from the Aztecs, letting them know that you dressing all nice and preppy or whatever, much is nice, but at the end of the day, you're still gonna die. You know, you might dress around high class, whatever you want to be, trying to be, because most of these people should be indigenous of Mexico and be natives of Mexico, but they're trying to take the ways of the Europeans, the Spaniards, and then he wanted to remind them to rebel against them, say, hey, okay, y'all can dress all y'all want to like that, but y'all still gonna die, because death is the great equalizer, right? So that's what he was trying to do. Tell me more about the Catrina.
All right, La Catrina has become the referential image of death in Mexico. So it is common to see her embodied as a part of the celebrations of Day of the Dead throughout the country. It's become a motive for the creation of handcrafts made from clay or other materials. So the representations may vary, as well as the hat.
Yeah, so it's funny how it became a political sketch to kind of sort of bring awareness and kind of rebel and do pamphlets like a political thing, saying like, hey, you're all gonna die. And all of a sudden, thanks to Diego Rivera, which is Frida, one of Frida's husband, he was an artist, he made a mural. And in 1947, Sueño de una tarde dominical en la Alameda Central, or Dreams of a Sunny Afternoon along Central Alameda. So he made a huge painting, including him, a Catrina, and even Frida Kahlo was there. So out of that, it grew more popular that all of a sudden it became something. So tell me more about the mural.
So the mural was painted between the years of 1946 and 1947. It's a principal work of the Museo Mural Diego Rivera. So it's adjacent to the Alameda in the historic center of Mexico City. It measures 15 meters long and it stood at the end of Alameda Park. So also the mural survived the 1985 earthquake, which destroyed the Del Prado Hotel and was later moved across the street to the Museo Mural Diego Rivera.
Yep. If you know anything about Mexico, you know back in 1985 they had a huge earthquake, like the biggest earthquake they had in history, and it tore down a bunch of stuff down. And it's crazy that this, I don't know if it's some kind of spirit that protected the painting or whatever, but it stayed that, you know. Dressing as a Catrina is a very popular costume in Dia de los Muertos, Day of the Dead, celebrated in Mexico. Catrina typically features sugar skull made up of, you know, the appearance of a skull, you know, kind of sort of like an Aztec type of look. But again, back to the spirit of the death, and then dressing it up as an actual Catrina. You like the Catrina stuff, don't you? Mm-hmm. Why is that? Why do you like it so much?
Oh, because like it reminds me of Dia de los Muertos and the whole celebration that my family does.
Your logo has a skull type, mm-hmm. right? Sugar skull.
Yeah, I have the sugar skull with some headphones, some DJ headphones.
All right. Mm-hmm. So the last time I forgot to tell you on the last episode, so the reason why because you would be considered what people call a Chicana, right?
Yeah.
So a lot of Chicano people really do embrace the culture because it's part of, I'm not a Chicano, so I'm actually a Mexicano, but I can see why it will be something to be proud of, to something that you can identify yourself as, of all the things maybe that are not passed on, like not even the language sometimes, that you can like celebrate something, especially now being in a bunch of movies like the Catrina is all over Coco, one of the movies we talked about. Mm-hmm. And then of course, right now you just going through my social media, my Facebook, all I see is a few Catrinas too. And they have a few events they got going on about the Catrina, but I don't know if they know all the history of where it came to be and why it came to be. And the fact that it started from one thing, try to rebel and try to put it in their face like, hey, y'all are still Mexicanos, y'all not that. And being trying to make it a political to reviving at a later time and becoming a symbol of one of the biggest holidays that we have in Mexico, which is Dia de los Muertos, which, again, is just a reminder that we're not here forever. Remind ourselves of our loved ones that we lost. If we haven't done it all year, we haven't gone to the cemetery, remember that this is the time that you can remember. Not only that, but also, again, another reminder that we just temporarily here, and then we can, be conscious of that, and then just live to the fullest. Don't do it YOLO, because YOLO's YOLO. You're only going to do it once, so, chance it well. All right. So remember the last time we talked about the next mythical creature that I really thought it was just something that my tia made up or something that my tia told my cousin, because I just thought she made it up. It wasn't like a real thing. Well, it turns out that this fool is a real thing. It's like a real deal. He has a whole story, and like, it's crazy how deep his roots are. We're talking about El Cucuy.
Oh.
What do you know about El Cucuy? Like, just without looking at anything? Okay, so what is it that they have told you, or what do you know about it that you learned as a kid about the Cucuy? What did they tell you it looks like?
Well, my mom used to threaten me when I wouldn't listen. She would tell me the Cucuy is going to come get me. So pretty much like the boogeyman. Mm-hmm. But apparently they're scarier.
And what did you make up in your mind about what that was? Like, what did you picture yourself in your head that the Cucuy was?
In my head, it was probably something big and dirty looking, with probably red eyes and scary.
And look at you having red eyes. Face your fear, I see.
Yeah.
Okay.
Literally.
So tell me what the Cucuy is or where it comes from.
The Cucuy is a mythical ghost monster equivalent to the boogeyman. So it's found in many Hispanic or Spanish-speaking countries. It's also considered an Iberian version of a bugbear, as it is commonly used as a figure of speech representing an irrational or exaggerated fear. So the Cucuy is a male being, while Cuca is a female version of the mythical monster. So the monster will become the house. Well, no, it'll actually come to the house of the disobedient children and make them disappear, which is why my mom would tell me, you better listen or the Cucuy will come get you.
You know what's crazy? That I didn't know that there was a female version of it. Did you know it was a female version, Cuca?
I always thought it was a male.
Well, the Cucuy is the male version, but the Cuca is the female version. I didn't know that. This is the first time I ever hear about that. So the bugbear, right? So the bugbear is a legendary creature of a type of hobgoblin comparable to the boogeyman also. So this is what that means. I didn't know what that meant. But it's one of them guys.
I don't know. Bugbear kind of sounded like something cute.
It does sound cute, don't it?
Yeah.
A bugbear does sound kind of cute. That's funny. Okay, so the Cucuy goes by different names. We got the Coco or Coca, also known again as a Cucuy, Cuco, Cuca, which is the female, Cucu, or another one, not Cucu, like the Sonora Dinamita, no te metas con mi Cucu, no, not that, or Cucuy. So he has all kinds of different names. And, we do be terrorizing our kids too much, because even now I hear my sister or my both of my sisters trying to say Cucuy. I'm like, why you telling that? Like, why you terrorizing
kids
these
don't
kids?
listen.
But they're kids. You know what I mean? And don't get me wrong, I'll be the first one to no hagas eso. But at the same time, be like, why you terrorizing with like mythical stuff, like really made up stuff? That I get it has a history, but the trauma that you're creating for these kids,
it lasts forever.
I'm just saying. Even to this day, like, I don't care for it anymore, right? But when I was about 11, 12 years old, with my little naive mind, every time my tia said that, you know what I did? Check under the bed. Yeah, I did. I did check under the bed.
I'd sleep with the light on.
And again, I got here
For
when I was
sure.
11 years old, and my tia, one of my tias used to tell my cousin that. And I didn't know I know what the Llorona was. I know what the Catrina was. I know what the Chamuco is, El Diablo. But I didn't know what the Cucuy was. And at 11 years old and up, I started being scared of somebody. I didn't even know what it was. I just knew that thing would snatch you up. You know, there's an actual book. There's a bunch of books about the Cucuy, actually, and movies. So all of these, the Duende, the Catrina, and El Cucuy all have books, different books, many books, and they all have movies. And one of the books for El Cucuy, it says that there was a dad that was raising 3 girls by himself. And the youngest one will be the only one that listened. And all the other girls wouldn't listen because, oh, you're a goody two-shoe. You shouldn't do this. And that, no, we have to clean because Dad said. And then one day, they straight up didn't do anything. Dad got home and he said, ahora sí, le voy a decir a Cucuy que venga a traerlas. And he said, I'm going to tell the Cucuy to come get ya. And sure he did. Sure enough, at nighttime, Cucuy came, snatched them up, took them to a cave. Yep. And he used to feed them only a tortilla a day. A corn tortilla certain days and a flour tortilla some other days. And the dad felt really bad because he's the one that called the Cucuy. So he'll go to the mountains and trying to find, but he couldn't find it. One day, a goat, a sheep shepherd was taking care of his what's it called? His sheep. And then one of them got stuck by a cave, and then he saw the girls. And when he saw the girls, he went and got them out, and he was able to save them. And from that day, on that town, those girls would never act up ever again because they knew that the Cucuy was real and the Cucuy would come get them. And that lived on from generations to generations. So anytime anybody visited that town, those people and those girls and their grandchildren and children's children were the most well-behaved people there was. I can see why. You know what I mean? I can see why. Like, yeah, if you get snatched by the Cucuy, the rest of your life you better act right. And even if you have like a small like episode that you want to act back, remember eating a tortilla a day only and water? They were like, what do you think? You think that's possible?
Anything's possible.
Yeah, that's true too. Well, I don't know where it's at.
I'll be good.
All right. There's another. Tell me about the other terms as far as coco or where it come from.
It also means skull, which cocurito. I'm sorry,
Cocuruto, which is Portuguese. That's why it's hard.
And it means the crown of the head or the highest place. So with the same etymology in Galicia, coruca means head.
Yep.
From the Proto-Celtic croca, with variant croca. And either coco or cucu means head in both Portuguese and Galician.
We call that in Spanish. You use coco? It is bien coco. You never heard of that?
Yeah.
What does that mean? You're like
Not
you're
that
like super smart. No, you're super smart. Like if you're being coco,
Or
it's
no
like
seas
you're,
coco.
huh? No seas coco is me like you ain't got nothing. That's different. It is bien coco will be like you're smart. It no seas coco mean like you're hollow inside. No seas.
The hard-headed.
Yeah. Meaning Latin America's country referred to the monstruo El Cuco in northern New Mexico and southern Colorado. There's a large Hispanic population. Of course, they call it Coco Man. In Brazil, folklore monster, they refer to Cuca and picture as a female humanoid alligator derived from Portuguese coca and dragon. So all these stories that they said from the word where it originated, such as, again, the Philippines, Mexico, and Portugal, all those, Brazil was conquered by Portugal, and it makes sense that some of those myths would carry over to Brazil, and they have kind of sort of like the same thing, you know, as far as what it is. And like after a while you keep telling the same story over and over, then of course that's what it will become, you know. Believe it or not, Miguel de Cervantes' famous novela has a creature called El Cucu. Okay, so El Cucuy is so profound as far as his story goes that he was referenced at the actual book Don Quixote dies. As far as like, well, of course, Don Quixote dies, but in the book, El Cuco, the word Cuco is referenced, which is talking about El Cucuy, and that's how important El Cucuy in like as far as mythical creatures and the actual creature itself. It's important that even it made it to Don Quixote de la Mancha. It's like a small little cameo word that they said about him, but yeah, he was referenced in there. What do you think about that?
It's interesting. Very interesting.
Did you ever have any in your small imagination as a kid, any close encounters with him at all? Or you were just terrified because your mama told you?
Yeah, I was just terrified.
It works.
I don't think I saw any.
It really works. It really does work. It really works to try to scare the kid and doing right. But I don't think it's right. It's really not.
They gotta learn, and
I know, but you have to find another way to discipline instead of
that, or you spank them.
Yeah, but nah.
Which that's frowned upon.
They're so scared, and again, I feel that we are creating trauma from the Cucuy and Duendes to these kids, and I don't know what's gonna do to them when they're older, because it works. Don't get me wrong, it works like a discipline tool, but I don't really know what the psyche behind it. Like, what does it really affect you? You know what I mean? I don't know. I don't know. I don't like it. I don't have kids. Pretty sure just without knowing, one day I'll probably say something about Cucuy, but I don't think it's right. What do you think? You care?
I'll probably tell them, you better act right or the Cucuy will come get you. And I'll show them a small clip of a scary movie. Be like, that's it. So they know.
See, all the movies they're older. I don't think they made a good one that's like good quality. They're all the ones that I was looking through. They're all older movies. They're not something that's like that you can say is like high quality. You'll be able to like a Chainsaw Massacre type.
Oh no.
Yeah. Okay. It's not that, but I don't know. I just don't like it. I just don't like that discipline tactic. And I know it works very effectively, and it worked for me when I was a kid. I don't know what it does. I don't even scare of the Cucuy no more.
Yeah, it's better than telling them a bugbear is going to come get them.
Well, because they might want to hug it.
That's too cute.
Yeah, that is kind of cute. They might want to.
Okay, I'll keep acting up. I want to see the bugbear.
Yeah, that's true. Maybe so. All right. Any final thoughts on the Duendes?
Nope.
What you going to do if you hear a whistle?
Run for my life.
And then if he catches up to you? Show him 4 fingers. Hide your thumbs. All right. What about the Catrina? What you learned about her?
That is very interesting. Like all like injustices of the government that it was involved with, and
yeah, then
this is like all the history about it that people don't really talk about.
Yeah, but that's where it originated from. As far as like, there's so much you don't have to be Mexican to know there's corruption in Mexican politics, but there's even from the beginning of the times, and later on we'll touch upon it, but it's just sad that there is that. But from that pain and that horror of all that was going on, it created something that is now lives on even to this day, which is the Catrina, which is the culture and the Day of the Dead, how that image resurrected, because Posada unfortunately died poor and forgotten for a long time until later on the painting came back from Diego Rivera and put it on in the mural, and then it just became, and then a lot of people don't remember that Diego de Posada was the originator, and then later on Diego Rivera brought it on back in 1947. and then now it's just a thing that we use. It's like an icon, like a logo for Dia de los Muertos. So something good came out of it. There was a silver lining from it. What about El Cucuy?
That they do exist.
That's crazy. They go back all the way to Iberian legends, to Spaniard, to Portuguese, way back in the days, and how it traveled from all those countries that were conquered by, which it makes sense that they would go to these countries, and some of the things that they did would carry over to Mexico, to the States, and then like still scare kids, not even know what it is. And okay, so the Cucuy looks like a wolf, big wolf, dark, with only one red ear. That's what it's supposed to look like. And then the eyes are, vicious looking. But that's it. That's what he looks like. He big though. He big. Like he'll snatch you
like
up.
Taller than 6 feet?
Yeah, probably, and scary. Like he looks like a wolf almost. He'll snatch you up quick. That's what he looks like supposedly. One of the versions. Yeah, I'm good with that. I'm okay with the Cucuy.
Me too.
But if you get an opportunity, if you're curious about learning more, there's a bunch of articles about all of them. And you can go ahead and check out some of the movies too and see if you get you want a nice scare before Halloween's over. Well, Halloween's going to be over by the time we get this episode out. But if you're curious about seeing a scary movie, then you can check out any of those. I think like Catrina will be more. I think like Catrina's side was more like a novela. Duendes is going to be scary for sure. And then if you want to have a movie night, go Duendes first, then go El Cucuy. And then let us know what you think on the comments. If you subscribe, make sure you like, comment, interact with us. If you have a suggestion, let us know. We're more than happy to go ahead and do an episode of, if you have a relative that a lot of people don't know about, that you feel like he should have an episode, let us know. We'll take care of it. Any final thoughts, Ms. Vira?
Don't forget to check out La Llorona too.
Yeah.
Let us know what you think.
That was a new one too, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah. Were you going to look at it? Are you going to check it?
Watch it.
You going to watch it?
Yeah.
Shoot. Don't call me. I'll be like, no, you just suck it up.
You're like, I'm scared.
You know what I used to do whenever I watch scary movies about snakes? Like if I was on my couch, I'd be like, my feet will be off the ground. They will not touch the ground. They will not. And then when it was finished, guess what? I'll be like looking under the couch again, trying to see if I see anything. And then I'll be like, I'm good. Why do we do that to ourselves? Why do we do that to ourselves?
Because it's fun.
I don't want, to me, I don't really care for scary movies anymore. The ones that I don't really want to watch anymore, because all those scares are movies that are not really scary movies. They're more like frustrating to me. Like, why don't you just kick them? Why don't you trip them? Why, once you knock them down, don't you finish the job? Type of stuff.
Why are you falling so much?
Yeah.
It's catching up.
Yeah. Why you fall? I keep tripping over and over. And why is this guy walking and he still catches you? All that. It's kind of frustrating to me, right? It's not really realistic to me. But the ones that really get to me are the ones about exorcists and devil possession, all that. Oh, no. Ouija board. Yeah, keep
That's
that
where
away
I draw
from
the
me.
line.
Yeah, just that. Because I know of real situations of that, and I just know that some weird vibe about it, and it's just not my thing. It's not. I don't understand it, because I don't understand it, and I don't know what I can create within myself about it. I just rather not even entertain it. I just can't, because I know there's things that happen. There's real stuff. I don't know what happened. And I watched one not that long ago, and I didn't feel right about it. I think it's called Victoria on Netflix. It's about a family that got possessed, like Carlos. Oh man, yep, yeah, that was not cool at all. I would not. I don't know why I watched it, and I regretted it. I finished watching it because it was based off a true story, and a lot of those are based off The Exorcist, and all of them are based on true events. It's not something that was made up. And that's what trips me out the most. Is like, I don't understand it. I know it happened to somebody, but I'm just like, nope. That's just not that's not my vibe. No es mi. Vibe is not vibra. What is vibe in Spanish? But why don't you like those movies?
Because of the ghosts that I've seen.
The ones.
So with that possession, that it seems too real, and also I've seen videos of that it's actually real. So that's where I draw the line.
It does happen.
Yeah.
So I know of some. I know of a person. I'm not gonna say names, but I know of a situation of a person which I know that something happened, and they have to take them somewhere to have an exorcism for real. Oh, and I know that person, that at the time I seen him, we didn't wear clothes, but I seen him from afar. And you know, like, have you ever seen somebody that's recovering from drugs? Mm-hmm. You know how they a little bit off a little bit? It's probably the brain damage. That's kind of sort of like they were like off a little bit.
And they were possessed.
They were possessed before, and they had an exorcism, and then when they were supposedly back to normal, they were not back to normal. Oh. Like you can tell, kind of like I said, like somebody that's recovering from drugs type, like an addict, kind of like something's not right all the way in the head, in the brain.
Yeah, they went through a lot, probably.
Yeah, I think even though it's like a. See, just like we were talking about consciousness earlier, we don't understand it. I don't know what happens whenever they get possessed and you're within your brain cells or your brain, but something happens because something gets damaged, and you're not 100% like all the way when you are too. Yeah. Anyway, vibe is ambiente. It's not vibra. Vibra is vibration, not the same thing. So vibe. It's ambiente. I saw it on a TikTok, and I was like, vibe is not vibra. I have to double check myself to see what it is.
Almost sounds like vibra.
It does sound like vibra, but it's not. It's vibra. It's vibration. And vibe is ambiente. And that's not my ambiente to watch all those stuff. And why are we talking about exorcism and everything? Because this was our final installment of this Halloween edition. Until next year, when we find more mythical creatures that we can talk about. And if you do, again, have a suggestion of one of them that we don't know about, because there's a bunch of them that I know still that we didn't get to touch on, let us know in the comment, subscribe, like, you know the business. Check out the website, get some of the merch. Not this shirt. I got a Chapulín Colorado shirt. Y'all know about him too. One episode we're going to do about Chespirito for sure and how he got his name. Be on the lookout for that episode. Anything else?
No, that's all.
All righty. So this is the Global Latin Factor podcast. Remember, we are just like you. We are the spice in this melting pot that it is the world. Until next time.